Oh goodness, excuse me. Ooh, excuse me, sorry. Excuse me. Excuse me, miss. Sorry, putting this away.
Very exciting day.
And Sandy's here to help me unveil it, and because I'm old, Jack is also going to help me. Jack, how you doing? Very good, thanks. I can't wait to see this thing. You've driven it, and they were cursing you because you're just too tall. But this, you're fitting. There's been some redesign. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's not pad it out. Let's unveil this amazing machine.
Hell yeah!
Okay, so here's your soundbite. Monroe & Associates has been working on this vehicle with Chris and the Aptera team for quite a while. And we're here to help you turn silver into gold. How about that?
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Robert. It's amazing to be here. Amazing to show everyone the progress we've made over the last 3.5 years. It's an exercise in bleeding edge engineering to make this vehicle 100 watt hour per mile green. You know, you park it in your driveway, it gives you 40 miles a day of free solar charging. So for the average driver, you would never have to plug the Aptera in. It's just free mobility. So with that, I thank you for helping us unveil this amazing vehicle. And I know you have a couple minutes, maybe you want to say more things before you head off to your next thing, but I know Sandy has some things to say. I'll take over and answer questions and stuff after you guys are done.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say too much because we don't have much time. But I want to tell you one thing for sure. I've been in the auto industry for a long time. A long time. And in the auto industry, there are always iconic vehicles. Vehicles that define that era. A Model T, you don't have to hear the word Ford. Beetle, you don't have to hear the word VW. Mini, you don't have to hear BMW i3, right? BMW, what's the right word? Mini. You just know that it's a Mini. Well, from now on, this is the icon for the EV8. This is it, Aptera.
So that's one of the weird advantages of being involved in this world, very much from the outside, not like Sandy. I'm very much an observer from the outside, but I first saw this car about 10 years ago and I just thought, this is genius piece of engineering. This is an amazing way of approaching it. And it's been through a rocky history, I think it's fair to say, and it's so incredibly rewarding to see this car now coming to fruition. This is the last sort of pre-production version, is that right?
Yes, this is called the Gamma, and we have 4 stages to our production path. Alpha, which a lot of you people have seen, we had 3 different vehicles. One was black, called Noir, one was silver, called Luna, and one was white, called Soul. Then we moved into our beta. Effort, and that was really to test our suspension and production components. And now this is Gamma, which looks very production-like. But we still have work to do with our supply chain and getting our vendors in order, and that's really what the next stage is. Delta will be closer to the end of this year, and that's really a fully production contented vehicle, and we're ready to barnstorm production and deliver to our over 30,000 pre-orders now.
Oh, he's being modest. There's one other thing. There's another funding round, and quite frankly, as anybody that's watched my show knows that I've invested, and I already mentioned that we've worked on the design and the manufacturing capability of this car. But if you want to get in on the next Tesla Tesla Millionaire Club or whatever, I think that this is it. And I know it is because I've already done it. So you have to talk about that.
Yeah, our latest investment round is open now. We hope that many of you can support our efforts to bring solar mobility to the masses. And it's exciting that 10 years ago, these kind of tools weren't available. You couldn't invest in early Google. You couldn't invest in early Tesla. It just wasn't a thing. You had to be a millionaire or a billionaire or part of a large fund. Now, for just $1,000, you can invest in Aptera and go along the journey with us to delivering our first 30,000 vehicles and beyond. And it'll be very exciting. I think we have a very interesting path to making the world a more efficient place. So we hope a lot of you can join us, but just go to Aptera website, click on Invest, and that's how you do it.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope over the next 2 days you come and have a look at the Aptera in between the amazing talks we're giving, and one of those is starting very, very shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. I'll talk a little bit more about the Aptera and maybe answer some questions. We'll spend another 5 minutes, if that's okay. But really, the Aptera, over the last 3 years, has been a labor of love for so many of our engineers and suppliers and supporters around the world. We have over 750 ambassadors around the world now, and a lot of them are in town. So thank you, Aptera ambassadors, for coming out and sharing the love. A round of applause for all the Aptera ambassadors. There seems to be a lot of them here. But our engineers have worked tirelessly to put every piece of advanced engineering into this vehicle, making the vehicle more aerodynamic. In the Gamma version, even though we made the interior compartment 1% bigger, we actually did a lot of things ergonomically to make you a little more comfortable in the Aptera. We moved the seat down 25 millimeters. We moved the seat to the center 20 millimeters. We raised the corner above your head as you enter the door 55 millimeters. Just a much more comfortable interior space. We also, if you've been following us for a long time, made many aerodynamic changes to the Aptera. The wheel pants are drastically redesigned for this version of the vehicle. And that's so air that gets compressed between the body and the wheel pant can flow through more seamlessly. The nose is actually more pointy and lower in the Gamma compared to previous vehicles. And the total vehicle is longer by 4 inches. So there's more storage in the rear, which is nice. I was going to go back and show you the rear opening, but we have to carry this around. But the future is not. We think that a lot of people will find the Aptera to be a lot more useful than really you can decipher from pictures on the internet. A lot of people will see this vehicle on the internet and in videos and they think it's small, but the Aptera is not small. It's as wide as a Tesla Model S and it's as long as a Prius. And as you can see in the rear, when you fold the seats forward, you have 7 feet from the back of the seat to the tail of the storage. So you can fit a couple 7-foot surfboards in the back, you can fit a couple mountain bikes, you can certainly pack for a long camping journey, and we even have a tent option that goes over the rear so you can sleep 2 people and a dog comfortably in the back. So it's a very exciting adventure vehicle. And we get this question a lot, how is Aptera going to change the world? And in one way is zero fuel cost transportation, which we think is very exciting. But a vehicle that creates its own fuel is something tremendously unique. When you go on a camping adventure and you drive 300 miles away and you set up for camp, you can actually create more fuel over a week and leave with more charge in your Aptera than when you first got there. So it just opens up a world of possibilities. If you take another gasoline-powered vehicle or even electric vehicle out on a camping adventure, you may have to worry about how you're going to get back, but not with the Aptera. It's a very interesting vehicle like that. When the zombies attack, this is the vehicle you want. When the gas stations are down and the plugs aren't working, you want your vehicle to be solar powered. Sandy, did you want to make any further comments before we take questions? It's quite all right if you don't, but maybe just on the engineering of the vehicle and how we're pacing ourselves through production, and then I can take 5 or 6 questions and we can move on.
Okay, so for those folks who are in the auto industry, most of the time that if people have a problem in the auto industry, regardless of whether that's in Japan or in Europe or United States and Canada, we usually get a call. But with Aptera, Chris and Steve phoned me up and invited me for a pizza, and that's how I got involved really early on, shortly after the financial stuff. And I'm telling you what, This is going to be a car that's going to be so robust, so aerodynamically perfect, and it's going to be made like a stone. In other words, it's going to have, if you can think of, Elon Musk making those big castings at either end out of aluminum, think about this car as 5 pieces. That's it. Okay, one for the body, one for the doors, one for the 2 hatches, and that's it. It's going to be rock solid. It'll never rust. You're going to have a car that's going to last for eons. You'll give it to your grandchildren. Is that good enough?
That's great, Sandy. Thanks. I would say he brings up a good point that we really want to build the Aptera as a generational vehicle. We don't want this vehicle to be a keep it 5 years and then throw it away type of vehicle. All of the solar panels on the vehicle are detachable and upgradable. So in the future, when solar cells are 30% efficient versus 24% efficient, you can upgrade. When your infotainment system gets stale and we're on to 6G or 10G or whatever the freaking next wireless protocol is, you can upgrade your infotainment center. You can upgrade your battery pack. We want this vehicle to be passed down to your grandchildren. And the great thing about a composite vehicle is it will never rust away. So we hope to keep these on the road for as long as possible. On the service side, we're a right to repair company. So if you have a problem with the Aptera, we will tell you how you can fix it and ship you the part to fix it within 24 hours.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of other companies have been very resistant to this kind of thinking, but the service needs of a vehicle like this being so modular and having, you know, 500,000 to 1 million mile brake life and no pump lubricants. The only thing that's wearable in the motors is the axle bearing, and you know, when's the last time you've heard of a modern car losing an axle bearing? It just doesn't happen. They're 1 million mile bearings now. So, you know, this vehicle should be very hands-off in terms of service. So, you know, in the occasional chance that it may need service or warranty, we don't want to restrict you on how you accomplish that. So we hope to be able to ship the Aptera around the world with that kind of service mentality, and we hope to make a lot of people happy with the Aptera and make the world a cleaner, greener place. Maybe Sarah and her miraculous marketing team have put all of this together, and they brought all of these ambassadors into town. Thank you, Sarah. Hand for our marketing team. They've done an amazing job putting this show together. We have a lot of Aptera engineers here. They're the ones that have put their heart and soul into the design of this vehicle, staying late, making it happen, working on the weekend. So if you see anybody in a white Aptera shirt, feel free to ask them questions about why is this vehicle so amazing, and shake their hand and thank them because they're working so hard to bring solar mobility to life. But 5 or 6 questions, happy to answer them. Raise your hand and I'll try to repeat your question for everybody. Yes, sir. Air vents. In the Gamma, we have a very interesting new air vents that actually exists around the center screen. So instead of having air vents in the dash, you have air vents at different angles, top, bottom, and side, and that allows you to very easily direct air to the driver and passenger around the vehicle, and makes for very nice air recirculation around the cabin, which makes our HVAC system even more efficient. It's a very cool device, and we've got a patent out on it, and I think it'll please a lot of people. Next question. He asked if there's solar on the dash. Yes, there is solar on the dash. The 4 panels of solar you can get, 2 come standard. The dash and the roof come with every Aptera vehicle. You can option up to get the hood and the rear hatch. The total solar package on a warm summer day in Southern California will get you about 40 miles of free solar charging a day. Next question.
What's the tax credit on this one?
The tax credits vary by state, but if you know any politicians, please lobby for us to get more tax incentives. The latest federal tax incentive doesn't apply to any electric vehicle in this building, so it's rather sad that we don't have politicians that are really fighting for things like solar mobility.
Was this built off production tooling?
He asked, is this built off of production tooling? So the next design iteration is called our Delta design iteration. That really is a pre-production vehicle. That vehicle will be built with production intent parts, but not necessarily off of production intent tools. It takes time and money to develop those tools. They're very, very expensive. So a lot of what you see here won't change. Visually, the Delta will be very, very similar to this vehicle. So from 200 yards away, you may not notice. But most of these parts were not built off of production tools. They were built off of prototyping tools. The charging port. Oh my, the charging port. Oh baby, let's see. Charging port. Oh, that's a beautiful charge port right there. We feel that this charge port is the most elegant in the game. So it works with our packaging. It works for DC and AC. It makes all of our charging dreams come true.
What's the purpose of the ball next to the license plate?
The ball next to the license plate is actually, it doesn't have the rear part yet, but this will be our reverse indicator. It's also your charge port light, and it lights up your license plate all with a single LED, which is very cool.
My live stream chat wants to know, can it tow anything?
She asked, can it tow anything? We do have a tow option available, but it's not represented on this vehicle, and it is low on our engineering task list. So we made provisions for it, but I don't know if we're even going to show that off in the Delta. It will probably be once we start production. The solar panels on the back, in previous versions there was some chevrons on the back. We actually moved those chevrons to the solar rear hatch. We were actually able to put even more solar panels on the rear hatch, which actually allows it to produce even more energy. I don't want to forget these people over here, but any questions over here? Yes, sir. Windshield wipers. If you look under the cowl here, you will see our beautiful new windshield wiper blade. We don't know if the metal arm is what we're going into production with. We think that we'll probably put into production a carbon fiber arm, but that's still under development. It takes a lot of trial and error kind of to get the spring rates right and stuff. Yes, sir. He asked what kind of crash testing will we be doing with this vehicle. We had a previous version of the Aptera that went through all the federal motor vehicle safety standards tests. Frontal impact, side impact, frontal impact, offset frontal impact, side impact, roof car strength. We have designed a whole new vehicle architecture, and that will have to be retested. But we will share with the public. I think hopefully all of you Aptera fans agree, we overshare. So anything we do, we want to share with our community to bring you along the journey, and the crash testing will be no different. When we start to crash test this vehicle, you'll see the results, we'll put out video, we'll tell you the stats, and so on. Expect that in early next year. Last question, last two questions. Yes, sir. Oh. Okay, we'll turn the speaker your way, hold on. Yes, sir. The grant from California. Yes, we were just awarded a grant from the CEC. It's still quite a process to file with the states, and they will be coming out with more information on the specifics of that. But yeah, it's terribly humbling to have very sophisticated organizations come and support Aptera, and it's very exciting to see how that will play into our production path. Yes, sir.
Upgrade your mileage after you purchase?
Are you going to be able to upgrade the mileage after you purchase? After you purchase, you can easily upgrade the solar panels, and we plan on having an upgradable kit where you can have a travel solar panel with you, and you can roll it out the back and add another kilowatt of solar charging. So if you want to do that for, say, your off-grid cabin, or if you want to take this adventuring and you want more energy because you want to use your laptop all night, or an electric cook stove, then that's an option. But as far as the battery pack, we hope that most people stick with their initial purchase battery pack. But you can upgrade the battery pack over time if you want. Last question, make it a good one. Gonna go with it, all right. He asked a question about a possible third seat. It's not the most exciting question, but yes, we do plan on having a third seat option in the base Aptera. And our future is, we think that aerodynamics, lightweight, efficient powertrain, solar-powered vehicle can be adopted to almost any platform, and we want to make the world a more efficient place, and we think we can do that by having many different variants of the Aptera. I thank everyone for their support. All of the Aptera ambassadors and fans that are here. It's just amazing that you guys came so early and were at the doors to bust through and see our new Gamma vehicle. But feel free to ask anybody in a white shirt questions while we're here, and we're just so humbled to have so much support, you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks to my team and everyone at Aptera for helping make this possible. And I hope you guys really enjoy the Fully Charged show. There's lots of amazing things happening in the world of EV. We support them all. We want us all to be successful so the world is a better place for our children and grandchildren. Thank you so much.